And you bring that up. I mean, this is a very special time now for the Irish, and to celebrate 45 years of being co-ed here at Notre Dame. This year is so special, and our Vahid Sadrzadeh joins us now as he speaks with some of the pioneers that helped make this journey possible, and we're a part of it.
Yeah, that's right, Allison. One of those pioneers is known for the pursuit of greatness on this very court. But without Father Hesburgh and the courage of the freshman class of '72, those achievements would not be possible.
I remember our first sellout. I walked in the arena, and it was a snowstorm, which is so unusual in January at South Bend. And one of the ushers said, "Hey, did you hear? It's a sellout." And my heart was just palpitating. I was so excited. The emotion and the building was so loud.
A dream realized for a pioneer in women's basketball. When Muffet McGraw took over as the head coach at Notre Dame in 1987, she never imagined those sellouts were possible.
I think it's so important for women to appreciate the pioneers that got us here.
Pioneers like Jill Donnelly. 45 years ago, Donnelly was one of only 200 women to enroll at the university, a wish she had told her father about long ago.
I remember telling him, I don't know how old I was, probably 8 years old. I said, I'm going to go to Notre Dame someday. And he said, look around here. There aren't any women that attend this school. You're not going to be going to Notre Dame. So I can thank Father Hesburgh for allowing my dream to come true.
An all-male university, Notre Dame allowed women in the undergrad program for the first time in 1972.
Living in South Bend, it was all over the news. There were actually advertisements that, is Notre Dame really a place for women?
Look, my classmates coming in, I think, were thrilled that it was going to be coeducation.
Daniel Reagan was Donnelly's classmate in the fall of 1972, but not everyone he knew associated with the university was as accepting.
My father is a 1948 graduate, and his cadre of Notre Dame friends certainly were weighing in on whether Notre Dame should make that change.
I believe probably overall it was a tough decision for Father Hesburgh to make, to be honest, just with being a Catholic school, being the traditions that Notre Dame had as an all-male institution. There were many classes where I was the only female in the classroom, and I would be coming in the door, and there was a conversation going on that probably was a little off color, and I'd hear someone say, "Jill's in the classroom," and they would change. And I think that's what Father Hesburgh envisioned, that he just wanted socially for men to behave a little different, I guess, and felt the presence of women would change that.
And change is what it brought, an inclusion, not just in the classroom, but on the athletic playing.
We slowly but surely added sports, we added staff, we added to the budgets, we added scholarships. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing, was that over the course of, I guess maybe 20 years or so, we added to the point where every one of our 26 sports had the full complement of scholarships.
John Heisler joined the athletic staff in 1978 as Assistant Sports Information Director, and he has been an integral part of the growth of women's sports at the university.
A signal to not only to your own coaches and your athletes that you're committed, but it's a signal to everybody else that, hey, we're serious about being good in these sports. Whether you're talking about women's basketball, certainly Muffet would tell you that when she took over as the women's basketball coach back in the late 80s, I mean, the program at that point was nowhere near the success that she's seen in this last 15, 20 years.
It took us a while to get there, but we were able to do that. I wanted to be in the top 25. I wanted to be a perennial NCAA tournament team. I don't think our goals were quite as lofty as winning the national championship when I first started, but going to the Final Four in '97, I think, was the one that kind of got us started.
Dreams realized for two pioneers who led the way for future generations at Notre Dame.
We could look at a lot of those women as role models for our future daughters who were hopefully going to have an opportunity to come here and have even greater advantages in terms of their education at Notre Dame because of the women from that class of '72.
So direct with myself, meeting my husband, my children, without that, I may not have ever personally met my husband.
And Jill Donnelly's husband, Joe Donnelly, of course, they met at Notre Dame back when Joe was the class of 1977, and their kids went to Notre Dame as well. Jack, I know you were part of the class of 72, graduated in 76. What was that culture like there, welcoming the women at Notre Dame then, and how did the culture change over those decades?
Well, of course, we didn't know any different. We came in that class. Father Jenkins was in that class. I was in that class. We came in with that being the norm for us. Now, there was obviously a difference in ratio and representation, and I always so admired the women in my class because everything was a first for them, and sometimes awkwardly so, I thought. You know, in some of the classes where the professors weren't quite where they should have been, and culturally, you'd hear them say, well, can we have a woman's perspective on this issue? You know, it's like, come on. but the university grew into it and became more comfortable with it. I thought the planning for that class was exceptional. Everything from laundry to how the dorm worked to the school was so committed to making it work and making it feel good.
Well, you know, because we love that picture of you so much, we're going to show that again.
You're killing me.
From his days here at Notre Dame on campus. We also have some other famous alums. You mentioned it, Father Jenkins. He was here while you were here, and we see him there. Look at him, just a young man.
He was a handsome dude.
Yes, and then we also have, of course, Rudy Rudiger, who has become famous for his movie. We'll have a special story on that movie coming up next week. And Jack, thank you so much for joining us and being here with us, and thank you, Vahid, for sharing this story. 45th anniversary of becoming co-ed here at Notre Dame.
Great to be with you. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.